He was beat up by 3 unknown individuals. He was witnessed by the bus driver. It looks like they punched him several times. They did take turns stomping on his head.
Now at 7 o'clock, a brutal beating on a TriMet bus leaves a passenger in the hospital and 3 men behind bars. What started the fight coming up in our top story.
And Starbucks workers across the country are picketing for better wages. We are live in Southeast Portland as local workers get ready to rally.
We're also following the path of Melissa this morning. The Category 5 hurricane expected to be the strongest storm to hit Jamaica in recorded history. These are live looks from the island. Landfall is coming this morning. In fact, it could even happen this hour. Sunrise, streaming live at 7 o'clock, starts right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. All right, Chris McGinnis and Rod Hill join the fray. Rod, I know you have a lot to talk about as far as the hurricane is concerned, but we also have our local forecast to get to.
Yeah, we want to get you out the door right now. So I've been saying that the observations say the radar may be overplaying what's actually reaching the ground. But Chris McGinnis has just showed you recently some cameras over on the west side out in Washington County that have a little bit of moisture on the roadways. Hillsboro's reported some light rain. We had 6/100ths of an inch up in Astoria, 2/100ths in Astoria. And now radar is showing there may at least be some sprinkles, at least that, maybe a touch more coming into downtown Portland. I've been looking out of my window here at KGW in the dark, and I can't really tell if it's doing anything or not. Here's Salem, 6 o'clock observation at McNary Field is still dry. 45. Here comes a 6 o'clock observation at PDX, now reporting at least a touch of some light rain out along the Columbia River, and that may be the case in downtown Portland right now as well. So to the bus stop we go. A shower or some light rain out there in the early morning hours at the bus stop. Once the kids get in the classroom, I think the early morning rain chance will be over, and then we'll be cloudy and dry at noon, 51, and cloudy and dry when the kids get out of school on 57. And then it will be later tonight that the next shot of rain comes in. Here's Chris.
And Rod, to your point, I think if you look closely here, this is Highway 26 out near Murray Boulevard. Definitely a little evidence of maybe some light sprinkles out there, or at least a little mist, right, on Highway 26. That said, the drive not too bad a shape on that side of town. In downtown, this will maybe impacting your drive to and from the Ross Island Bridge. So we've got a crash at Kelly and Corbett. You see some flashing lights down there from the emergency response. No injuries reported with this crash, but it does appear the traffic, like right there on the eastbound Ross Island Bridge, wrapping around that is a little slow at this point. So just be aware of that as you make your way out the door. Elsewhere on the freeway system, of course, the drive getting busier. There's the live look at a Clark County. I-5 at SR 14, certainly a few more cars on that stretch of road. And the drive right now from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Drew, in China, that's been holding steady now, right around 20 minutes or so for the last little bit.
All right, thank you, Chris. Top story here at 7 o'clock. 3 men are behind bars this morning after they allegedly beat a 50-year-old passenger on a TriMet bus.
KGW's Alma McCarty has more on how it all unfolded.
At Southeast 142nd and Stark,
it's shocking in a sense that it was so out of proportion to the situation that was going on.
A brutal attack at this stop following deputies say a disagreement.
There's a multi-person fight on the bus.
They began punching and slapping him, and at one point at least one of them was stomping on his head.
The alleged assault by 3 men on a passenger, a 50-year-old man who was trying to get to work. According to court documents, those 3 suspects tried to board the bus, but one of them was smoking. The driver told him he couldn't do that, leading to a delay. That delay upsetting the victim, officers reported. After a back and forth, the victim rushed forward, trying to shoo them off. But a fight broke out instead.
And they're still fighting, and police are responding.
The reaction was just way, way out of proportion, and they're charged with attempted murder for their actions.
The 3 people have now walked away from the bus, but the person is still down on the ground in front of the doorway.
Transit police arrested all 3 suspects soon after, as paramedics brought the victim to the hospital.
He was beat up by 3 unknown individuals. He was witnessed by the bus driver. It looks like they punched him several times. They did take turns stomping on his head.
Meantime, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, which leads the multi-agency transit police unit, stresses they want riders to feel safe on TriMet.
TriMet provides over 1 million rides a year, and these really heinous assaults are very rare.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
A shooting in northeast Portland last night left 1 man dead. Police responded around 5:30 to reports of shots fired on Northeast 125th Place in the Argay Terrace neighborhood. When they got there, officers say they found one man with a gunshot wound. He later died at the hospital. The shooter remains on the loose, so anyone with information about this should call Portland Police.
We are learning more about the shooting in Northeast Vancouver Sunday morning. It happened just after 8 at the Alderbrook Apartments. Authorities say that a man was shot and killed while in the front seat of a car. 2 masked men were seen near the victim's car before driving off, and the Clark County Sheriff's Office says that they believe they now located the vehicle that they were in. We spoke to some neighbors who say they're considering moving.
Kind of want to get out of this area because it's the third event in this general, like within our 10-minute radius.
We always felt like this apartment complex was a little like standalone, because if you just walk anywhere outside, it does seem a little more crazy.
So far, the victim's name has not been released.
Starbucks workers across the country are picketing for better wages and better staffing. Unionized shops in Southeast Portland and Hillsborough will be part of the picket lines today as workers consider a full-blown strike.
Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us from a Starbucks along Division. So Thomas, what have workers told you about negotiations?
Well, guys, workers say that they're not asking for much. They're just asking for pay that's better than minimum wage and higher levels of staffing. Employees tell me that with higher staffing, workers are able to keep consistent shifts instead of bouncing around between different shifts each week. One union worker we spoke with named Maggie Bolden adds that many workers have a second or third job to get by. She says right now a lot of people are making minimum wage. Workers say that a new contract with Starbucks is about 90% complete, so they're getting close, but they say that there's still a couple of things that Starbucks is stalling on.
If Starbucks can increase that wage, even just so that we can afford our groceries, our rent, working full time here, that like we won't need to get another job somewhere else.
Now, it's not clear when or if a strike will come, though workers are currently voting after voting for a strike authorization. If there is a strike, it could impact more than 10,000 workers across the country. We reached out to Starbucks about this and are waiting to hear back, though a spokesperson did tell CNBC that when you calculate pay, along with benefits, some workers are receiving more than $30 an hour. That same spokesperson also told CNBC that, look, they're adding $500 million as well into staffing, especially during those busier times of day. Guys.
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us this morning in Southeast Portland. Some more business news here. According to NBC, Amazon is planning to cut 14,000 corporate jobs as it invests more money in artificial intelligence. It's the largest round of layoffs at the company in years. Amazon says it will give impacted employees 90 days to look for a new role within the company.
Portland's largest airline is expanding service. Alaska says it's launching new nonstop flights next May to Baltimore, Idaho Falls, Philadelphia, and St. Louis. The airline has also added a second flight to Newark, made Kauai service year-round, among other changes.
All right, Rodney Hill, now get out of the Weather Center.
Well, you can get to Philadelphia, Drew, and I can go back to Missouri and get to St. Louis if I want.
There you go.
According to that story. All right. We've got areas of light rain that are now being increasingly confirmed by observations and by live cameras. So from Salem up into Portland, up into Vancouver, this is light precip. Here it is on the lights of Providence Park. And if you look, yeah, that's definitely illuminating the rain, which has moved in. And I'm assuming this is now throughout the downtown area as well. 47 degrees in Providence Park. Hard to tell. I want to see how wet the concrete looked on the walkway at the Oregon Zoo up in the West Hills. I'm assuming it's raining here, but it's tough to see. The observation says, yes, a raindrop. 45 Taggart, 45 Sherwood, 46 out in Happy Valley this morning, 43 up in Battleground. Everybody's cloudy, and some of us are getting some light rain. And some of us aren't. 45 down in Corvallis. This is a little push of warm air. Remember yesterday, Futurecast showed rain this morning mainly along the north coast. Obviously, it's turned out to be more than that. But as we get through the mid-morning hours of 8, maybe 9, after that, I think this early morning rain chance will be out of here. And the rest of today will be cloudy. And we'll wait for some rain to come in later this evening and overnight. Now, with that said, maybe there's something that lingers up here around Astoria, Long Beach, or even Kelso, Longview. Increasing clouds, but dry across areas east of the Cascades today. So 7-day forecast. Most of today simply going to turn out to be cloudy and dry, 57. A couple of sunny days tomorrow and Thursday, and then a dry Friday morning. Rain picks up in the afternoon. Right now it looks like it will be raining during the evening for the trick-or-treaters, and then what looks to be just a washout of a steady rain day to me on Saturday. Hey, hope you can join us tomorrow at 6:45 and 8:45 here on Sunrise. I'll have my winter outlook. If you've never seen this, we get into more detail than any other outlook that I'm aware of in terms of is it going to be snow or ice or anything wintry wise this winter in Portland. Temperature trends, Cascade snowpack trends as well. That's coming up tomorrow on Sunrise. All right, here's Chris.
All right, Rod, thanks for that. I want to pick it up in Southwest Portland. Again, we've been watching this crash near the west end of the Ross Island Bridge. It's actually on Corbett. And right now, the emergency vehicles are still there. No word on any injuries at this point, but this is kind of at a pinch point for traffic coming off of and heading to the Ross Island Bridge from the west side. That's the live look right now from our Wells Fargo sky camera. It looks like traffic is getting by, but it is causing a little extra east and westbound slowing right now. Again, the crash scene is right down below on the west end of the bridge there. So watch out for that. We'll switch gears and take you a little farther to the south. We're also bunching up near the Abernathy Bridge. The trip from Oregon City to Westland, a little slow on southbound 205. And speaking of bridges, I-5 over the Interstate Bridge, of course, one of our slower commutes right now. Guys, that's still right at 20 minutes to get you in from Main Street to I-405.
All right, thank you, Chris. Back to one of our top stories this morning, a live look from Jamaica, several live looks from the island. Hurricane Melissa expected to make landfall there at any minute. Jamaica bracing for the worst of what's being described as a catastrophic Category 5 storm. We'll have more from the island when the Sunrise Show continues in 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Hurricane Melissa is set to make landfall in Jamaica at any moment now as a Category 5 hurricane, making it the strongest storm to ever hit the island in recorded history. This is a live feed showing the conditions just off the shore of Jamaica right now. Mass mandatory evacuations were issued for thousands in Jamaica, but many there said that they plan to wait out the storm. To reiterate here, Hurricane Melissa is a Category 5 storm and is expected to generate up to 40 inches of rain and 175-mile-per-hour sustained winds. And this right here is a live look from rotating cameras stationed across the island of Jamaica. You can see that heavy rainfall already coming down, strong winds blowing the water across the ground, as we just saw there. Melissa has already been blamed for 6 deaths in the northern Caribbean, 3 of which are in Jamaica. Rod also says that the storm is moving very slowly, which means it could sit over Jamaica for an extended period.
Whilst we understand wind and rain and what it can do, but if it stays for a very long time, You're not just dealing with saturation. You're dealing with a higher level of destruction, a higher probability of landslides, a higher probability of flooding, even in areas where flooding would not have taken place.
Officials are forecasting a storm surge of up to 13 feet. They warn people that they could lose electricity for weeks and that some roads will likely become impassable. After Jamaica, Melissa is expected to hit Cuba as a Category 4 storm. Right now, people in Cuba are making preparations as the hurricane makes its way there next.
We mentioned at one point this morning, Rod, 176 mile-an-hour winds expected.
And so here's the situation. When I got to work this morning, the report around the eye wall of the hurricane, 175 sustained. That's increased to 185 miles per hour. The storm's less than 10 miles away from making landfall. Now and this is confusing. I think the media in general, including myself, does a horrible job of explaining what that is. When we say 185 miles per hour around the eye wall, that doesn't mean at ground level it's going to be 185 miles per hour. But you would assume sustained winds could reach 100 and gusts could be easily 125, 130. So no matter how you look at it, this is going to be a rough ride. Here's a look at the imagery of the satellite picture. So it's been crawling along, literally like 4 miles an hour, as China mentioned in her report to you. Right now it's coming, and now it's kind of almost stalling again, and it looks like it wants to turn this way. But the eye is going to hit, it looks like, somewhere this western part of Jamaica. Now, Kingston, where the airport is over here on the east side, but on the southern side of the island as well. And, of course, up here is Cuba. It's expected to hit Cuba tomorrow morning as a somewhat weaker, but still catastrophic Category 4 storm. The last report I saw had winds now gusting well over 60 miles per hour, and I haven't looked in over an hour. I apologize for that. I just haven't gotten around to it to see what the actual observations are in Jamaica. But there's that report from the Hurricane Center that I mentioned around the eye wall. 185 sustained, gusting to 215. Here's the track, again, Thursday morning over Cuba. Tomorrow morning over Cuba. And then by Thursday, it's exiting all of the islands, and then it goes way out to sea. So all indications seem to be strong that this storm will stay a significant distance away from the United States. Okay, here we are with the radar. This is light rain falling in the area. Yeah, there you see the raindrops. If you look carefully, zoomed into the lights of Providence Park, so you can see those raindrops coming down, 46 degrees. This is a forecast miss. Remember, Futurecast had shown rain this morning only up around Astoria, but instead we have this push of rain that's now come inland. 47, light rain in Portland. 43, light rain up in Kelso. Futurecast shows by 8 or maybe 9 o'clock, somewhere through the mid-morning hours, the push of light rain that's now coming across the area will exit. And then the remainder of today will be dry, but cloudy, otherwise nice. And then remember, we have the front coming in overnight tonight. Here it is at midnight. And this is a pretty good batch of rain hitting us at midnight. You might hear it. It'll be a fast-hitting 1/4 inch of rain potentially. And then by early tomorrow morning, it's gone. And that sets the table. Look at the sun for developing sunshine tomorrow. And with an east wind, a nice sunny Thursday as well. So for today, overcast. We're dealing with the light rain right now, but we go on for most of today to be dry. Temperatures will be in the 50s. Same setup up in southwest Washington. Southeast winds 5 to 15. Halloween, growing confidence to the morning is dry, a cloudy day. We could get lucky and maybe the rain holds off until Friday overnight, but at this point I still think the most likely scenario is we have rain by late afternoon going into the evening for the trick-or-treaters. And then it's hours of steady rain Friday night into Saturday, and some of the models are showing that could be an inch of rain. And then Sunday may or may not be dry with a shower threat. Here's Chris McGinnis.
Rod, thanks for that. Found the rain on the west side. Here's a live look right now at the Sylvan Hill. It doesn't look terribly heavy, but you can see like the optics here. It seemed like that road surface, Skyline Boulevard, of course, is a little wet. I don't see anyone using their windshield wipers just yet, but in any event, the drive on that side of town's a little slow. I also wanted to focus in South Portland, right on the west end of the Ross Island Bridge. We've had a crash here on Corbett at Kelly for about 75 minutes or so. It looks like the flashing lights have cleared the scene. Westbound traffic coming off the Ross Island Bridge has been slowed a little bit because of this, again, right around Corbett and Kelly. But at this moment, it looks like traffic is now starting to move a little bit better there. So maybe we're all done with that scene, hopefully. All right, door number 2 takes us to the Banfield. I-84 westbound, really slow now, coming in from 82nd Avenue. That drive has jumped up to about 23 minutes at last check from Troutdale. And the I-5 commute across the Interstate Bridge. southbound right now, averaging 22 minutes to get you in from Main Street to I-405. Guys?
Thank you, Chris. Tyler Robinson, the man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk, back in court. The latest on his hearing, plus more of your national headlines when Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in just 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
President Trump is meeting with Japan's new prime minister for the first time today in an effort to strengthen trade ties with the country. NBC's Tracy Wilkins has the latest for us.
But I congratulate you.
President Donald Trump continues his 7-day trip through Asia. Topping the agenda at every stop is trade, with negotiators still ironing out the details of pacts made with South Korea and taking steps toward agreements with China and Malaysia. Already, President Trump, his Commerce Secretary, and U.S. Ambassador to Japan touted $490 billion in new investments in the U.S. and saying this about tariffs.
The tariffs have been so good. We're taking in trillions and trillions of dollars.
Trump met with Japan's newly elected prime minister, who is navigating the country's pledge of hundreds of billions of dollars in funding for American projects in hopes of avoiding higher tariffs.
We're just signing a new deal, and it's a very fair deal, and we look forward to welcoming Japan into the United States and a continuation, and it's something that everybody is very, very excited about.
Chinese delegations were meeting over the weekend to find a way to also avoid higher tariffs after Trump threatened a 100% increase on Chinese goods. During his upcoming meeting with President Xi, Trump said he also plans to raise the issue of fentanyl, accusing China of failing to curb its flow into the U.S. Meanwhile, back at home, Vice President J.D. Vance is preparing to meet with fellow Republicans to discuss the shutdown. The largest union representing federal workers is calling for an end, pressuring Democrats, while federal workers are feeling the brunt.
It's a lot of uncertainty. Bills continue to pile up. I have car notes, I have children to feed, I have a family to take care of, I have a mortgage to pay. So it's a lot of uncertainty.
Back to President Trump's trip through Asia. The markets are responding. The Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all hit record highs Monday, driven by optimism that President Trump and China's President Xi will strike a deal on trade when they meet in South Korea on Thursday. In Washington, I'm Tracy Wilkins, NBC News. Back to you.
All right, here's a look at some other national headlines with your morning rush. Tyler Robinson, the man accused of killing political activist Charlie Kirk, was back in court yesterday. His attorneys asked that he be allowed to appear in regular clothes and without restraints. The judge agreed to the clothing request but wouldn't give a full pass on restraints, ordering the sheriff to use the least restrictive option available. Sean Diddy Combs is set to be released from prison in May of 2028. He was sentenced to 50 months behind bars on charges of transporting people for prostitution, but was also credited for time already served. Combs was acquitted of more serious sex trafficking and racketeering charges. He's also facing a $500,000 fine and 5 years of supervised release. There's a recall in place for nearly 5 million pounds of Hormel frozen chicken. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says the chicken may contain small pieces of metal. The recall includes Hormel fire-braised boneless chicken thigh and breast meat. The release of new national dietary guidelines is on hold because of the government shutdown. Officials say the funding freeze delayed work on the updated nutrition advice, so the country's health and agriculture departments now expect a December rollout. The guidelines are updated every 5 years and are used to shape school meals and federal nutrition programs. And that's your Morning Rush. Coming up in our next half hour, Republican State Senator Christine Drazan running for Oregon governor again. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is set to join us live with the latest on next year's race. Also coming up, cutting back on Halloween candy, not because of the calories, but because of the cost. We also know the costumes are not exactly cheap either. We're going to have more on this year's Halloween prices in our next half hour. As we go to break, a live look this morning. Again, this is a live look at Jamaica. Jamaica is one of our top stories on this Tuesday. The Category 5 storm, Hurricane Melissa, making landfall. In fact, it could make landfall there in the next few minutes. Rod Hill will have all the latest on this when we come back in just a minute.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We are coming up on 7:29 on your Tuesday morning drive. Let's pick it up in southeast Portland. The drive, the slow commute up northbound on McLaughlin Boulevard. A lot of those cars circling around to get onto the Ross Island Bridge. So, of course, that is in full steam here, really slow, that is. You also saw a few raindrops on that camera. Rod will tell you more about that in a second. But the drive's starting to tighten up a little bit at the Sylvan Hill. And at last check, your inbound Highway 26 commute now has jumped up to 26 minutes to get you in from Hillsborough to I-405. Rod?
Yeah, Chris, it has been light rain out there. Some areas you can tell the pavement's wet. Other areas you can tell, well, it's doing something, but the pavement's really not that wet yet. At any rate, if you look at this carefully, you see this right here? It's all starting to move this way. So it looks like in the next hour plus all of this will be out of our region here in the valley. Maybe still some light rain lingering up around Long Beach or Astoria. Here's a view from the Vancouver Springs at the waterfront camera. Temperature outside 47 degrees, light rain in Portland at this hour. But most of today will be cloudy and dry. High temperature 57 degrees.
Today's 7:30 half-hour sunrise begins with another live look from Jamaica. We're taking some live cameras from the island, but you can see a lot of them breaking down as that hurricane hits this hour. Hurricane Melissa, a catastrophic Category 5 storm with 40 inches of rain and 175-mile-an-hour sustained winds expected. Again, this shot frozen right now, and that's happening at all over the island. As we take a look now, several of the cameras there just kind of stuck as that hurricane bears down on Jamaica.
And the Hurricane Center just did give an update, and it's not good. The winds have actually increased to 185 miles per hour. And Chris, you were looking at the central pressure on this. It's in the top 5 of strongest hurricanes in terms of the lowest pressure.
Yeah, so the pressure is a gauge for the intensity of the storm, and like 9, right now, let's see, 888 was the lowest. This one's now at 892. 892.
Millibars,
so, yeah.
I mean, we wish them the best, but holy cow, the damage is going to be something else. And we'll have the imagery on Hurricane Melissa and Jamaica coming up just shortly in the show. But for right now, I do want to get you out the door. And here we've got this push of rain that's been moving inland. It's been really light stuff, like measurable to 0.01, measurable 0.02 inches of rain, and everything is pushing off to the east. This was what Futurecast 24 hours ago showed as a chance of rain mainly up around Astoria. Well, it's turned out to be more than that, but it is just light, and it should continue to push out of here in the next hour or two, and that would leave the door open for most of today to simply be cloudy and really pretty nice. Let's see if Salem's reporting any rain. So far, no. 45. I mean, the road almost looks a little wet down there, but this would have been at the top of the hour at McNary Field, 45 degrees. We know we have some light rain in Portland falling, 47. Again, later this morning, we'll be all dry again, and then we'll be all dry through the afternoon. 51 at noon, 57 the high. Don't forget there's that rain band. Current timing on that is right around the midnight hour overnight tonight for the Rose City. Chris?
All right, Rod, thank you for that. Let's get you out the door with a live look at the headlights on northbound McLaughlin Boulevard. This is not all that unusual, but just to let you know, it's pretty slow right near the Ross Island Bridge. Rod mentioned some rain. I think if you look down below, that's the deck that takes you up to the Ross Island Bridge, which is also starting to get a little bit wet. Okay, door number 2 takes us over to the Sylvan Hill, Highway 26, slow and steady coming in from Skyline Boulevard. And at last check, I-84, both directions here a little tight out near 82nd Avenue. Right now, that trip in from Troutdale averaging about 27 minutes, and the drive out of Clark County over the Interstate Bridge. I don't have my drive time here. Sorry for that, guys. But right now it's 22 minutes to get you from Main Street to the Fremont.
All right, Chris. Top story this half hour, Republican State Senator Christine Drazen has launched a second campaign for Oregon governor.
During the announcement yesterday, Drazen said that she will return Oregon to its core values. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us from Portland. And Thomas, the last time Drazen ran against the governor, Tina Kotek, it was a tight race.
Yeah, it was a tight race. That was back in 2022, guys. And look, Drazen only lost that race by 3.5% to Governor Tina Kotek. This go-around, Christine Drazen told us yesterday, she's interested in cutting taxes, improving affordability here in Oregon, amongst a flurry of other goals. Take a listen.
That means cut taxes. It means rush permitting, grow our economy, get our parks and sidewalks back. Help people get sober and stay clean. More cops and fewer needles in our neighborhoods.
Now, Drazen categorized Oregon as, quote, out of control under Kotek's leadership, though some are surprised she decided to run this year. Portland State professor Alexander Ross says being a Republican may be a liability for Drazen this election cycle.
She is sort of a moderate politician in the Republican Party. And so she might have a little bit of difficulty corralling the rank and file behind her. At the same time, she has been really effective in consolidating power and organizing a bloc under a supermajority Democratic legislature.
Now, look, not everybody agrees with that assertion that this might not be the best time for Drazen to run. State Senator Republican Mike McClain also told us that he thinks she'd be a wonderful governor. So clearly still, look, we're just at the beginning stages of this race between Drazen and Governor Tina Kotek, but one that, of course, we'll be watching closely over the next year. Drew, China.
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us this morning in Southeast Portland. Meanwhile, investigators say it appears Portland City Councilor Candace Avalos was not targeted this past weekend when a fire burned her home, her car, and her carport. They say it looks like it started in a storage shed next to the councilor's home, adding that there was no sign that someone used an accelerant or something similar to start the fire. Police say they're still working to nail down who exactly is responsible and determine a more specific cause. Meanwhile, protests over immigration enforcement continue in Portland, with the possibility of National Guard deployment here still held up in the court system. Last Friday, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals temporarily suspended its earlier ruling to allow deployment until 5 p.m. today. That extra time was set up to give the court more time to consider whether a larger panel of judges should rehear the matter. There's also a larger lawsuit at play here after the states of Oregon and California and the city of Portland sued the Trump administration over the planned deployment of Guard members. That trial is set to start tomorrow.
As we head into the fourth week of the government shutdown, hundreds of thousands of federal employees have now missed their first paychecks. Over the weekend, thousands of flights were delayed across the country as airports deal with staffing shortages. TSA officers and air traffic controllers are considered essential employees, meaning they have to keep working even though that they're not getting paid. But it turns out that many are calling in sick because they say that they can't afford to pay for things like gas or childcare. Meantime, both Republicans and Democrats in Congress are continuing to blame each other for the ongoing shutdown.
If the shutdown continues into next weekend, millions of Americans will lose their SNAP benefits, including 1 in every 6 people in Oregon.
Catherine Cook has more on the local businesses stepping up to support those who may be losing their benefits.
It would be pretty easy to just kind of look the other way.
In Southeast Portland's Montevilla neighborhood,
It's like, well, this isn't affecting me, or it's not affecting my neighbors.
that's not how Michael Cora sees things. When he learned people who use SNAP benefits would stop receiving them November 1st, it stung.
My wife and I were just sitting there talking before I left for work one morning, and she's almost in tears, just kind of like, this is so upsetting. I can't believe this is happening, and it was just like, we got to do something.
Cora owns Montevilla Brew Works. On Thursday, from 3 until 9, he's holding a fundraiser. 2 non-perishable food items will get customers $1 off their first pint. Donations will go to Mainspring Community Pantry in Northeast Portland. Executive Director Kyle Urban says if the shutdown continues, they won't have enough food for the people they serve.
A lot of our seniors, especially, that are on a very fixed income and rely on food stamps every single month. So yeah, they are absolutely scared.
On Southeast Belmont, Astra is giving away 100 vegan Thanksgiving meals for 2 for those who've lost SNAP benefits. In an Instagram post, they expressed anger and frustration over what's happening and their love for Portland. Many other businesses are doing the same.
Starting November 1st, Heretic Coffee here in Southeast Portland will offer free breakfast every day for those losing SNAP benefits.
For those who aren't struggling financially, Heretic is accepting donations to cover the cost of SNAP breakfasts. They plan on serving them until benefits are reinstated. This is Portland.
We're just doing our part.
Not looking the other way.
It really does affect everybody.
In Southeast Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
All right, let's get back to one of our other top stories this morning. It's not a local story, but it's one that is gripping the entire nation as landfall begins this hour in Jamaica with Hurricane Melissa. It's a Category 5 storm. It's forecasted to be the strongest storm to ever hit the island, at least in recorded history. And this is a look at the radar. I mean, just the magnitude of this storm, the way it's eating up the island on radar there is just absolutely catastrophically impressive. Rod Hill is going to join us here with more on this. So, Rod, you've got the eye of the storm right there behind you.
So the Hurricane Center at the top of the hour, so back at 7 o'clock our local time, put out their updated statement. And their wording, I think, spot on, saying that catastrophic winds are now starting to move onshore to Jamaica. The eye itself, which is the little circle right here, is still just by a matter of miles offshore, and it is moving at 7 miles per hour to the northeast right now. Now, Kingston, where the airport is over here on the eastern side of the island. Up here is Cuba. Expected to see this hurricane somewhat weaker, but still is a catastrophic Category 4 tomorrow morning. You did show the track. The update, again, is where they measure that wind, which is roughly at about 2,000 feet above sea level, 185 miles per hour in the center of the eye wall itself that wraps around the eye, gusting as strong as 215. So you would expect they're going to get sustained winds inland well over, at ground level, well over 100 miles per hour and significantly higher in any elevated areas of the island. So this is one of the strongest hurricanes ever tracked in the Atlantic Basin, period. It will stay well out to sea from the United States. All right, radar right now, this is all very light moisture. The movement is pushing this to the east, so the valley will dry out in the coming hours. Astoria, it's unclear if you kind of toy with an ongoing rain chance or not. They've had 6/100s up on the Long Beach Peninsula so far this morning. You can still see light rain falling from the lights of Providence Park over Portland. 46 is the temperature. And if you look at I-5, where there is some light rain, but it just doesn't look that wet. Again, the moisture has been really, really light. Calm winds out there. Ferguson, dressed up as a chicken, is our KGW dog today. And by the way, we changed this to Pet of the Day. So whatever your pet is, use the email petoftheday@kgw.com and send us the photos and names, and we'll feature your pet on our show. All right, this afternoon, all dry for the most part across the state, except for the chance of some light rain lingering Astoria, maybe even up into Cowlitz County and areas north up into Seattle. Temperatures here on the west side under the clouds will be in the 50s. I got Portland at 57. We've got a rain ban overnight tonight, but that is gone by early morning. So Wednesday and Thursday both look to be dry with skies mostly sunny. Rain coming in during the PM hours of Halloween. Our winter outlook is tomorrow. Hope you can join us at 6:45 and 8:45 here on Sunrise. And obviously, we'll post it to the KGW YouTube channel, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But this is where we really give you a roadmap as to what months we think have the best chance for a winter storm in Portland. Will those storms be big or small, snow or ice? What about the Cascades, where they had 20 inches of snowfall over the weekend? That's all coming up tomorrow on Sunrise. Here's Chris.
Rod, are we sure that 4 minutes is enough time for you tomorrow?
Well, you know, we should be done by noon. How's that?
You could take the whole last 2 hours of Sunrise. I think everybody would appreciate that. It might have the best numbers ever. All right, let's go ahead and pick it up on the east side. Remember how bad yesterday's commute was? Today's not that, but it's not great. There's 99E northbound, McLaughlin Boulevard at the Ross Island Bridge. That's always one of those you just have to deal with it, getting onto the bridge, right? It's busy there. It's busy up in North Portland as well. But that said, and I point out yesterday we had literally 18 crashes or fender benders during the morning commute that I could count, right? We don't have that situation this morning, but the drive is busy. Just shy of 30 minutes now is your I-5 commute from Clark County from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. And I-84 westbound is tightening up again. This is now up to 32 minutes to get you in from Troutdale to the I-5 split. Drew, China?
Thank you, Chris.
I'm not buying any candy.
It's super expensive.
Way more than it used to be.
If you've noticed Halloween shopping hitting your wallet harder this year, you're not alone. We'll explain what's behind the spooky price spike when Sunrise continues in just 2 minutes.
We also have to tell you about the KGW Great Toy Drive. That means this week is your last chance to sign up because next week it all begins. Yes, the official start to the drive next Monday. If you want to sign up to help us collect this year, very easy to do. Go to kgw.com/toy, and when you sign up, we will send you the official Great Toy Drive collection kit.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Talking Halloween here. Ah!
Oh, did we both want to do that at the same time?
I had another thing. I had something else planned. I was going to jump back and just say you look scary this morning.
I was going to scare you. We've been anchoring together for too long.
Yeah, we should plan these things ahead of time. Okay, back to regular news speak. People are expected to spend more money on Halloween this year than ever before.
One area that's getting hit pretty hard.
You're smiling too much.
One area getting hit very hard is candy. Todd Strain reports.
Social media is ablaze with people complaining about the high costs of candy, costumes, and decor, with one person even saying Halloween should be canceled. According to the National Retail Federation, Americans will spend a record $13 billion this year on Halloween. That's about $114 per person. The prices on candy alone are downright scary.
Well, it certainly ain't cheap.
I'm not buying any candy. It's super expensive.
Way more than it used to be.
So what's behind the high costs? Well, according to the Halloween and Costume Association, chocolate costs are up about 40% due to bad cocoa crops. And nearly 90% of Halloween products contain at least one component made overseas, most in China, where tariffs on shipping are driving up costs.
$195.
Nicole spent $195 on Halloween gear. Axel and Justin spent $50 each on these Teletubby costumes, but they have a plan to make them cost-effective.
If you wear it for 50 years, $1 a year.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
It's been insane. It's been nonstop. We just had a crazy weekend.
Vivi owns Whips and Furs costume shop in North Park.
We have definitely felt the impacts of tariffs and increase in import costs.
To offset these costs, Vivi did something different. Rather than ordering expensive wholesale costumes to fill the shop, he did this.
We've closed out costume stores that are going out of business. We've dusted the cobwebs off of stuff that's in our storage units. And we've really just tried to provide a variety of options for people this year.
And because prices of candy is down this year, your Halloween bucket might look a little different. This Halloween expect more fruity treats than chocolate. New research shows that chocolate makes up just 44% of Halloween candy this year, down from 52% last year. Experts say those soaring cocoa prices has to do with that. So
I would say that the Hill household.
Say it.
That price doesn't really have anything to do with that. The fact of the matter is that the Hill household, my sample, is that kids don't go for the chocolate first anymore, and they haven't for years.
What do they go for?
All the stuff that we put out, the little gummies, the other fruit things, but the non-chocolate treats, that stuff gets grabbed before the chocolate does. At least that's the trend I've noticed for years when the kids come to our door to trick or treat.
You guys all have a full thing of candy after you work so hard for that bucket. What's the first candy you grab?
I am my child. I'll grab a Snickers bar or a Hershey's with almonds or something like that.
Okay.
I'm probably Twix.
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 Twix. I'm a
like
Reese's
Twix.
person.
Really?
Yeah, you love those Reese's.
For some reason, when I go into Rite Aid, though, I don't know what it is about Rite Aid. When I go into Rite Aid, I had to get a whatchamacallit. Are you familiar with this candy bar?
No.
It's called a whatchamacallit.
No.
You know this one?
No, but I'm laughing because I had a great aunt that would always call everything a whatchamacallit.
Well, now there's
Where's my whatchamacallit?
a candy bar.
She was talking about chocolate.
I bet you some viewers know exactly what I'm talking about. The whatchamacallit candy bar. It's good.
Okay. We're watching the show. I'm going to get to the weather all. We were watching the show on TV the other day, and the person in the show likes Clark bars. I haven't seen a Clark bar in forever. I can't even remember what's in a Clark bar.
Caramel.
Is that what it? Caramel and chocolate?
Crunchies, I think.
Okay, all right. Okay. Well, it's still there. Yes. The 20 inches of snow. Our Joe Ranieri went up and did a story on the snow that fell yesterday. He did the story yesterday. The snow fell, of course, over the weekend. But there it is. Timberline Lodge reporting a temperature of 30 degrees this morning. Passes are all clean. No issues traveling today at all. All right. This narrow part of cloudiness right here, that is a rain band that will come in overnight tonight to Portland. Ahead of it, It's what we call kind of the warm bubble of clouds. And Futurecast at this time yesterday showed that there would be some rain mainly up around Astoria, but not much of anything inland. Well, Futurecast was wrong. We've had light rain push all the way across I-5 this morning. Here's the latest on the radar. Now, this is working its way to the east, so there is drying coming in the next hour or two. For right now, still areas of light rain in Portland and light rain, especially out toward Gresham. Here's Snookwinds Casino Resort, cloudy skies to the beach, 52 degrees. And here's a really pretty, you can tell it's been raining, that's wet. The pavement there from the Chehalem tasting room camera out in Sherwood, 45, really pretty colors. 43 up in Kelso, some light rain's been falling for you folks this morning as well. It's all dry out east, in fact, 19 out in Baker City. So here's Futurecast. This is a little too soon, 8 o'clock isn't that far off. But in the coming hour or two, the light rain will mostly be gone. And then we expect today to go on to be a dry afternoon, but cloudy, quiet, not bad. Here comes the evening rain at the coast and the overnight midnight rain band pushing through Portland. That could drop a quarter of an inch of rain, pretty good low rain band. But current timing gets it in and gets it out. So that would be we'd wake up tomorrow morning to a dry day that becomes mostly sunny. Really, 2 nice days coming up with sun tomorrow and Thursday. For today, the early rain and then the rain overnight. So much of today is going to go on to be cloudy but dry with temperatures in the 50s. Might be a lingering light shower chance toying with you folks as you head north up I-5 into Longview, Kelso, and even up through Castle Rock. All right, 7-day forecast. Here we go. 57 today, the sun tomorrow and Thursday, the dry Friday morning. Confidence is not there yet in terms of when the first raindrops come on Halloween. But I think at this point, it makes the most sense to assume it's going to be raining Friday evening. High confidence it will be raining overnight and much of Saturday. Sunday may or may not see a scattered shower. Here's Chris McGinnis.
Rod, thanks for that. We pick it up with a traffic alert. New trouble on the east side of Vancouver, this time on I-205 southbound. Looks like a crash that has at least the left lane blocked right now, approaching SR14. And it looks innocent enough here, but the backup is starting to grow here. I'll give you a different perspective from Mill Plain, and you can see 205 south. Now, not only is it raining, but traffic is starting to really slow on that side of town. Door number 3, of course, shows us the I-5 drive through North Portland, slow and steady there. So between the two, it's getting to be a bit of a slow commute from Clark County for sure. 32 minutes now, Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. That's, of course, the I-5 drive. And there's your look at the Banfield. That's slow and steady coming in from Gateway. Guys, that has jumped up to 40 minutes to get you in from Troutdale west to the I-5 split.
Thank you, Chris.
In Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah, you saw it leave the bat. You see the celebration at home plate. We'll give you the full home run treatment coming up here on Sunrise in just a minute. Freddie Freeman of the Dodgers ending Game 3 of the World Series last night with that big blast.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover
On weather impact alert days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Some Blazers highlights for you on this Tuesday morning. Shaedon Sharpe right there. Big dunk. With that dunk, he becomes the youngest player in Blazers history with 1,000 field goals. The Blazers also picked up a nice win last night. They beat LA. They beat the Lakers in Los Angeles, 122-108. LeBron and Luka Doncic didn't play, but still a nice win. Drew Holiday with 24 points for the Blazers. They're 2-2 on the season. They play again tomorrow night against the Jazz.
Foreman sends a fly ball to center field. Varsho's going back before the clock strikes me. Freddie Freeman has ended it. It's a repeat hero with the last word and a Game 3 classic.
And that brought an end to one of the longest World Series games ever. The Dodgers' Freddie Freeman walking it off, an 18th inning home run. Game 3 of the Fall Classic between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays ended 6 hours and 39 minutes after it started. The second longest World Series game in terms of time, but tied for the longest in terms of innings. And there's Freddie Freeman again circling the bases as the Dodgers go up 2-1 in the World Series. They play Game 4 against the Blue Jays in LA tonight.
Coming up at 8 o'clock, KGW Sunrise continues live on KGW Plus with the latest on Hurricane Melissa as the massive storm hits Jamaica. The damage expected as the already deadly storm passes over the island. Plus,
the snow stake's buried. I checked the Timberline webcam this morning, and it's all the way to the top of it. And I think that thing maxes out at like 18 inches.
Also coming up at 8 o'clock, more on the first big snowfall of the season up at Timberline.
The KGW Plus TV